In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me so love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, let there be light. And where there is sadness, joy. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. That song was written by Robert Edwin, a folk singer friend of mine I met in Chicago back in the 60s. The text, many of you might recognize, is by Francis of Assisi, and it's a fitting prelude to the ministry of food for the poor that I'll be talking to you about today. I'm privileged to be part of that ministry. I'm also privileged to be in Arizona, out of an airport for the first time in my life, and seeing the beautiful scenery around here, stunning mountains, learning about your rich history. And as Pastor Brown indicated, I'm especially glad to be here right now, because we've had some tough weather out in New Jersey. We do have our power back, but we were out for 12 days. And it's nice to have, I know somebody said it was cool here, it's nice to have a look, what you call cool. So we're still in the middle of winter in New Jersey. So it's great being here among you. And also here at Emmanuel, I served 5 congregations in the Missouri Synod. My favorite one was named Emmanuel after being Danbury, Connecticut, the other coast. And I'm always pleased when I come to a congregation named Emmanuel, God with us, which is very obvious here with your ministries that I read about. To see so many people here in church this Sunday morning. It's wonderful to be here with you at Emmanuel. Last year, I went on a mission trip to Haiti. And I'd like you to meet some special people I met there at that time. These people are part of the Toy Rock community, which were built homes by a coalition of 10 Lutheran Church Missouri Synod congregations and pastors. They're located in the southwestern portion of Haiti, an area hit hard by Hurricane Matthew in the fall of 2016. I've seen many shacks that the people live in. But this time I heard the tear-filled account of Helena, who had no shack at all, but lived in the mud with her 4 children, with absolutely no protection at all from the elements. She expressed her gratitude of being released from shame by receiving a home built by Food for the Poor. I also met Maureen, who lives in a zinc shack with holes in the roof and a dirt floor. Her kitchen is outside in the open air under a tent. She lives there with her husband, 2 parents, and her 3 children. I saw her 2-year-old son, Jean Love, sleeping in the intense heat on a worn-out mattress. She has little food with which to feed her family. She's hoping that She receives food as well as a home that will provide shelter for them from the rain, the bugs, and the rats. When it rains, they stand in the driest spot they can find. She clings to hope for deliverance from her desperate situation. I'd like to move away from the plight of Helena and Maureen for a little while and take a look at today's gospel. For the insight it gives to your ministry here at Emmanuel, and for your response to the needs of Helena and Maureen and their families, as well as others who are poor and disenfranchised. This reading today really runs against our grain. Jesus is asking his disciples then and today, you here at Emmanuel, who will you serve? Mark tells us this story in the gospel this way because he knows that Jesus' words, indeed his whole life, run contrary to our natural tendency to think about power, leadership, and all of life according to the terms of the world. So it takes time for this to sink in. In the gospel, James and John think greatness comes from status and power. And in response, Jesus points out that there is no escaping service. You will either willingly, even joyfully, serve others, or you will become a slave to your illusions. You can be free and secure your future through status, power, or in our day, wealth, or youth, or fame, or possessions, and so on. So I'll ask you this question again, God's saints of Emmanuel. Who will you serve? The voice is coming at you from our culture saying you can be free, indeed must be free on your own, at any cost. Or the voice of Jesus that calls you to find your freedom and indeed your true self through service to your neighbor. Perhaps that's also how we might hear Jesus' description of his life as giving himself as a ransom for many. Result, releasing us from our delusion that we are somehow self-sufficient, independent, self-made men and women. Jesus' whole life, including his self-sacrificing death, challenges not only our assumptions, but the very powers that be. Surprising and life-giving revelation that as we lose ourselves in service, we find ourselves living more fully than ever before. It's an example and a sacrifice validated in Jesus' death and resurrection that we'll be celebrating in the next couple of weeks. And for that matter, in our own experience, as we give ourselves away in service and love, only to discover a depth and a quality of life we've never experienced before. So, I'll ask you again, family of God at Emmanuel, who will you serve? I promise you that you'll find true freedom and joy in your service to others. Here, in your congregation, in your community at Sierra Vista, and beyond. Today, I'm here across the country from New Jersey to invite you to serve others through your gifts to the poor and disenfranchised, served by Food for the Poor. Now celebrating its 36th year of operation, Food for the Poor is an interdenominational Christian ministry, working primarily in 17 countries in the Caribbean and Latin America. By working with pastors, missionaries, partner organizations, clinics, community leaders and churches in these regions, we assure aid reaches those who need it the most. Food for the Poor has received a 4-star rating out of 4 stars from Charity Navigator. And this is significant. It certainly was for me when I decided to serve them as a speaker. Fundraising and other administrative costs comprise less than 5% of our expenses. More than 95% of all donations go directly to programs that help the poor. I'd like to ask you, if you would, please take out that brochure in your bulletin. I'd like to describe some possibilities with you today. How you can be part of that mission. You turn to the middle of the brochure, the part that has some monetary figures. Beginning in the top left. Honestly, I have no idea how much to ask you for today, but it is a loving gift of $3,600 or $200 a month for 18 months. For a family living in deplorable conditions, something you might be able to consider. It would release a family like Maureen's from shame, like it did for Helena, and provide them with a home where they and their children are safe and secure. This might also be something one of your organizations or Bible classes or your congregation as a whole might consider. Continuing down the list, $285 will provide a water pump for a village. The water in these countries served by Food for the Poor is contaminated. This will provide clean drinking water and also will eliminate the need for young girls to walk 3 times a day to gather water that's already contaminated. Powerful gift. $43.80 will feed a hungry child for an entire year. It's amazing how far the money will go. $90 will provide a goat that will sustain a family. A great life-giving gift. I know a woman farmer in Florida I visited recently thought that was a wonderful gift, and she wanted to give that. She knew how that could sustain a family. The middle of the brochure talks about Angels of Hope. A gift of just $34 a month, a little over $1 per day, will help sponsor a precious child in need, like 4-year-old Jasmine from Honduras, pictured there. You can form a relationship with the child. You can exchange letters, a very personal contact with a child in need. My wife and I are now on our 3rd child, a teenage boy, Angelo, from Guatemala. Again, it takes so little to do so much. In response to God's grace, His perfect love for you, I would ask you today that you would fill out the bottom of the brochure with a gift for Food for the Poor and hand it to me at the door as you leave. There won't be another offering. You can also text your gift by following the promptings next to the goat. And please also, if you have any prayer requests, include them in the blue section. Food for the Poor are people of prayer. They take prayer seriously. They prayed for me, for my family, special needs that we've had. And they'll even call you up and pray for you over the phone. I pray for some of these at our annual convocation every year. So include also any prayer request you might have. What I'm talking to you about today is a matter of life and death. You may never see the smiles on the faces of those people that you help, or be aware of their prayers when they lift you up to heaven, or hear the words, "Thank you," coming from their lips. But I'm here today to assure you that it happens. I heard it again and again in my mission trip to Haiti. Like the comment one man said to me after his village received 4 fishing boats from Food for the Poor. "This time we thank you. The next time we'll feed you fish." So I'm here today to thank you in advance from them for your loving gifts. You know, some of my friends and colleagues wonder why I'm doing this ministry in my retirement years. I'll tell you why. I'm speaking on behalf of Food for the Poor because I love the poor. I love them enough to want to make every effort I can to take away from them their very real shame that they feel for being poor. Enough to want to take away from them their almost constant suffering. Enough to be cognizant that they are human beings, just like you and I are, who love and want the very best for their families, for their children. Enough to want to devote the rest of my life for their betterment, which in turn elevates the purpose and the quality of my own life. And so today, family of God and Emmanuel, I'm inviting you through your loving gifts to join me in that mission. For as Jesus said, as often as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you did it to me. I want to close with another song, and I'm going to come down for this. You can